What's going on today, guys? BOJoeKO here, and we are finally getting ready to start our second GM mode commentary series in NHL 14. So, as you guys know, I put it to a vote for you guys to choose on the next series you would like to see in NHL 14. That would be between an Eastern Conference NHL team, just like a regular GM mode, a fantasy draft, or the custom created NHL Youtubers GM mode, which hasn't been done since NHL 13 when Deke did it. So, the fantasy draft did not get much love as I kind of expected it to. Nobody really likes fantasy drafts all that much anymore just because you can pick the good players out. So it was down to an Eastern Conference NHL team and the YouTubers GM mode, and it was a fairly close voting race. But the choice that came out on top was the custom created YouTubers GM mode. So this is going to be one hell of an exciting series for you guys. Unfortunately, there are going to be a couple big YouTubers who are not going to be involved in this series just because I was asking them for their information for over a week. They refused to give it to me. So the top three people you guys may know, Bones, Nasher, and Beast Synced, are not going to be used in this GM mode just because they did not give me their information. So I chose not to use them. And I didn't really choose to add anybody else just because I want to keep it fairly stable. So we're gonna have I think at least over 45 different YouTubers being involved in this GM mode series. So what we're gonna do first is, because I already have the GM mode created already because there was a lot of changes that needed to be done. So I'm going to show you guys how I first set it up, and then we'll get right into it and explain everything else and all the kind of problems that kind of came out because of it. Because there were a couple problems, but hopefully the 10 years which we'll be doing it for, all the problems will kind of rectify itself. But anyway, let's just get right into the GM mode and create a new one. So this is how I have it set up. We're going to have Superstar Hard Crit Simulation as always, 20-minute periods, 10 years on the GM, like the regular season. Trade, we're going to have hard, even though we don't think we're going to be making that many trades. It'll be up to you guys. Waivers we're going to throw off. Starting rosters we're going to turn on current. NHL salary cap we're going to turn off just because I have everybody's salary kind of set at $1 million for every single player. And just because I feel like I'm going to be switching back and forth a lot of players, back and forth between the AHL and the NHL teams, I want to turn the salary cap off just because we don't have any problems like that. Authentic cap penalties we're going to turn off. Classic draft pick ownership, fantasy draft on. Off, GM firing off, auto sign free agents we're going to have off, and advanced settings we're just going to turn the edit lines off, and the rotate goalies we're going to leave on, and everything else we are going to leave on. So we'll advance it up. The NHL team that we are going to be replacing is going to be the Toronto Maple Leafs. As you guys can see, we're going to set the GM link skill to hard, substitute a team for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and that would be the Toronto Chiefs. 3 stars on offense, 3 stars on defense, 4.5 stars for goaltending, and that's good. The team that's going to be taking over the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Toronto Chiefs, the Toronto Marlies, going to be the AHL affiliate for this team. So this is how I have it set up. Players under contract, we have 20 currently. Obviously, this will change. Average age is about 21.9. Top player is no way. It's going to be Oway. And that's how the GM is set up, guys. So let's go. I'm going to now switch over to the GM mode that I have already made previously, and we will get started with everything. Alright, guys, so we are now back into this GM mode for the YouTubers GM mode, the Toronto Chiefs. As you guys can see, we are at the beginning of the NHL season. So I had to simulate through the preseason. As you guys will probably see, I'll explain every single thing which we have here. You can see a couple of the names that are involved in this GM mode already, like Flash, David, and Bacon. So let's get into it. Let's first explain everything which kind of happened with this GM mode. So what I had to do was I had to basically obviously I had to make every single YouTuber and make them onto a team. Now, however, I tried to make all the YouTubers that were going to be involved on the AHL team, and I kind of used the roster management screen to kind of switch out the people on the Toronto Marlies with the players that were going to be on the AHL team. Unfortunately, that didn't work, but all the players were still available to be picked up during free agency. So what I had to do was I had to trade most of the players that were on the AHL team of the Toronto Marlies away and sign all the players in free agency so they could be brought back onto our team. So my GM rep kind of dropped a little bit. But still, everybody is on the team right now. We flew through the beginning of the preseason, getting ready to start the NHL season here. And yeah, everything is pretty much taken care of. Now, I'm going to show you guys the contracts and show you all the players that are going to be involved in this GM mode. Now, as you guys will probably see, because most of the YouTubers are going to be watching this, the overalls are kind of broken, as you guys will probably notice. I don't know what happened with it was when I was creating a lot of the players for this GM mode, I used my base character and kind of just changed all the base character stats of my guy to reflect the other players. Now the problem what happened was I had their overall so much higher than what they originally were, and then when I went back in to edit the players, their overalls suddenly dropped like 5 or 6 overalls, even like 20 to 30 overalls. It was absolutely crazy what some of them happened to be, but some of the people stayed the same, some of them did not. But it looks like this team might tank in the first year, but maybe like 2 or 3 years down the line, we should be a fairly good team to get rolling in this GM mode. So, like I said, you guys will see that the overalls are fairly broken, but their stats are actually not that bad. So let's get into the GM options and let's take a look at the contracts and let's take a look at the AHL and the NHL teams to see which YouTubers made it onto this team. So we'll start in the back end on the main roster, the two goalies that are going to be holding it down for this season. First up, we're going to start with the aggressive goalie, as you guys can see, Bacon Country, 84 overall, 98 for aggressiveness, 31 years old, 6'2", 203, 3.5 White Star still. So as you can see, Bacon is a fairly good goalie, 84 overall, 4.5 for reflexes and the puck control, 4-star for athleticism. I had to give him 98 aggressiveness because he is an aggressive goalie, so not a bad goalie to have, but 31 years old, we are going to be looking for a new goalie in the near future. But this guy could essentially take over that spot really soon. So Smelly Kickbutt, 78 overall, 18 years old, 3.5 green stars. Fairly good backup goalie. Athletic category is only at 3 stars, but good reflexes and puck controlling category. So he should be a pretty good goaltender to have in the future. Bacon is a hybrid. Smelly is on Butterfly. All right, so there's the goaltenders looking pretty decent. Now we move on to the defensemen. So, Owe, no way, it's Owe. 86 overall. As you guys can see, the overalls for a lot of these players did drop from which I originally did show you. I created. So their overalls did drop a little bit, but we have one of the best EASHL players in the game, taking over the top 2 on defense. No way, it's Owe. Two-way defender, 86 overall, 4.5 green stars, 18, 6'3", 200. As you guys can see, his defensive category is actually pretty dang good. 87 for defensive awareness, 87 for shot blocking, 90 for stick checking. Got a fairly decent shot, high 80s everywhere. Fairly good skater. Not the best puck moving skills. Good senses, good offensive awareness. Got that poise already at 85, even though he's only 18 years old. And physical category is pretty decent. So Owe, no way, it's Owe, are very good top 2 defensemen. So here we go. We have the enforcer for this team, 77 overall, 25 years old, Yui Bear Gaming, 77 overall enforcer. No shooting category, got 0.5 stars for his shooting category, but look at his physical. 5 stars for physical, aggressiveness, body checking, fighting skill, and strength all up in the upper 90s. Not the best puck moving skills, not the best for senses. He's got that poise. Defensive category is actually not that bad. 85, 85, 73, 78. Skating is fairly good. He's got the 3.5 gold stars at 25 years old, so he maybe could get one more big jump by the end of this. 6'3", 190 for Yui. So there we go. We got our enforcer defenseman right there. And the controversial player, maybe, out of this whole GM mode, Johnny Superb, man. 76 overall, two-way defenseman, 26 years old, 4.5 gold stars. I'm not gonna try to take this long with every single player, but as you guys can see, we'll just try to look at briefly at each player. So Johnny, 76 overall at 26, 4.5 gold stars for Johnny. Then we move on to Tyler Flippa Floppa Flopfish Da Boss, defensive defenseman, 3.5 red stars, 21 years old, defensive defenseman. And then we got Halo Diego down here, 72 overall, 18 years old, 3.5 gold stars. And rounding off, Sully on tap, 70 overall, 3.5 red stars at age number 25. I had to give Halo Diego a big-ass contract, but whatever. So that's what the defensive core looks like right now. As you guys can probably tell, I had these overalls so much higher than they originally had. I still think the overalls are kind of broken a little bit. As you can see, Johnny has like a lot of stats in his upper 80s, so I think his overall is just kind of lower just because he doesn't have certain stats where you think you should put them at. So I kind of just tried to create them as they do play as I see them in their videos. So that's kind of why their overalls are a little bit lower. But personally, I don't think all these players are bad, even though their overalls don't show it. So it's a solid defensive core that we have right now on the team. Owe obviously going to be putting the team on his back defensively. All right, so if we take a look at the right wingers now, Tactics HD, 80 overall, 19 years old, 4 gold stars for him. It's your boy Dobbs, 74, 18 years old, 4 gold stars. The Tough Tuber, 70 overall, 19 years old, 3.5 gold stars as a playmaker. Dobbs is a sniper. Tactics is a playmaker. Studs Hockey, right wing, two-way forward, 69 overall, 22 years old, 3.5 gold stars. And then it's your boy, the real Sykes, or join the Sykes Army, 66 overall, 19 years old, 3.5 green star sniper. So there's the right wingers that we have set up. Left wingers now, we have Clapperton, 80 overall, 18 years old, 4 green star sniper. Savvy, 69 overall, 3.5 red stars, 23 years old. And then Mold Gold, 65 overall, 18 years old, 3.5 gold stars. So Clapperton's going to be, actually that's Mold Gold. Clapperton going to be a pretty decent player that we're going to have. He's already has plus 90s in all of his shots. He's got that clap bomb. Not the best defensively. Senses are pretty good. Puck moving skills is going to be fairly good. He's a fast skater. So it's pretty good. Set up there on left wings. Centers now, kind of deep in the centers there. The man, Dekesaurus Rex, in up the center, 80 overall, 19 years old, 4.5 gold stars. X-Tech, 20 years old, 72 overall, 3.5 gold stars, two-way forward. Lamb Chop, center playmaker, 25 years old. I kind of screwed up on his age. Like I said, I kind of screwed up on a bunch of you guys' ages, and I don't really want to go back and fix them because it would take so long to do so. So unfortunately, there could be some guys that do not progress very well. But then again, you guys should be kind of happy that you are involved in this GMO regardless. But Lamb Chop, 68 overall, 25, 3.5 gold, and then Flash Davin, 67 overall center sniper, 21 years old, 4 gold stars. So there's all the players for the NHL team that we have set up. There, we'll go to the line changes in a little bit. So let's go now down to the AHL team and take a look at the goaltenders. So we're going to disregard this guy because I couldn't really get rid of him to any other team, so we're going to disregard him. But starting off, the starting goaltender in the AHL team is going to be Richardhead, 93, 67 overall, age 25 red stars. So this guy could either be a freaking bust or he could be one of the best goaltenders if his potential changes in this game to see how he turns out. So fairly young, 20 years old, 67 overall, 5 red stars. We'll have to see how Richardhead turns out. Then Paul Alucard, 55 overall, age 23.5 red, and then Viper, 59 overall, age 18, 3.5 red. So 3 decent goaltenders that we got down here. Going to have to play Richard as hard as we possibly can, and maybe hopefully he can get to be a pretty good goaltender. Defense, we got Crazy Canucks, 64 overall, age 18, 3.5 green stars. J to the P30, 56 overall, age 18, 3.5 green stars. McDonough, 60 overall, 20, 3.5 red. Maverick, Cam, I'm sorry I screwed up your age, dude. I know you're not 25, but I don't know. We're still going to be playing you as well. So 52 overall, age 25, 3.5 red. My bad, Cam. Couldn't fix that. Stupid me. I went the wrong way on the age thing. And then Dillsy down there, 63 overall, age 18, 3.5 red stars. And disregard this Tom Nielsen guy. So right wingers down, we got the Jaker Ba, 56 overall, age 18, 3.5 green stars. Average pro, 61 overall, age 18. Got to give this guy 99 deking because he's one of the best danglers in this community. Had to give him that 99 for his deking. UTP, 57 overall, 19 years old, 3.5 gold stars for Kyle. The Great Hebsky, 49 overall, age 18, 3.5 gold. Zhozhin, 55 overall, grinder, 23 years old, 3.5 gold stars. Z Crowns, 57 overall, age 18, 3.5 gold. Flow Show Matt Roberts, 66 overall, 22, 3.5 red. AJB, 58 overall, grinder, age 18, 3.5 red stars. And that's it for the right wingers. A lot of right wingers. Left wingers, not that many. It's Kane88, 56 overall, age 18, 3.5 gold stars. Cedar Point guy, 52 sniper, 23 years old, just because he sounds like he's goddamn 23, 3.5 gold stars. CHF or Colton, 70 overall, 18 years old, 3.5 gold. Cruiser, 68 overall, 23, 3.5 gold. Second Regiment Royale, 53 overall, 19, 3.5 red. J-Lau, General J-Lau, 55 overall, age 20, 3.5 red. Haxorz, 46, age 18, 3.5 red. And then we get to the centers. myself, BOJoeKO, 62 overall, age 20, should be 21, but 3.5 gold. And that's all the players that are in the AHL team. So obviously, I think I'm going to put some honorable mentions in the description of this video for those certain YouTubers that did not make the cut onto this team. I do still have roster spots. I could essentially make it and start over, but I think I'm just going to run with this team that we have right now. So a lot of people were helping me make these lines yesterday. So here's the lines that we currently have set up for the Toronto Chiefs NHL team on offense. So first line, we're going to have Clapperton, Deke, Rex, and Studs Hockey on the first line. So we got a sniper, a playmaker, and a two-way forward on the first line. So pretty good there. Hopefully Deke and Clapperton can get some good chemistry together on that first line. Studs hopefully can hold it down defensively. Second line, we're going to have Tactics HD, Flash Davin, and It's Your Boy Dobbs on the second line. Two snipers right there. Tactics, the 80 overall playmaker. Third line, we're going to have Savvy, X-Tech, and the Tough Tuber. So Tech will probably have to, Brent will probably have to hold it down defensively. Tuber's actually pretty good defensively as well, and Savvy's not that bad. And on the fourth line, going to have Mold Gold, Lamb Chops, and Sykes holding it down. So two playmakers and a sniper. Sykes hopefully can maybe get some goals down there on the fourth line. So decent offense right there. Nobody's being scratched on the NHL team. There are a couple guys scratched in the AHL team, but it's a decent team right there, as you guys know. Just don't disregard the overalls. Like I said, disregard the overalls. I think the overalls are kind of broken. Their stats are much higher than they should be. So that's a good offense that we have set up right there. Defense, on the other hand, we're going to have Yui and No Way It's Owe on the top two. Halo Diego and Johnny Superman. I guess that's a fitting combination right there for the second defensive pair. And then Sully on tap and Flopfish the Baos holding it down for the top six. Power play, Clappy, Deke, and Dobbs with Owe and Superman. Tactics, Flash, and Sykes with Diego and Sully. There's the four-man power play right there. Penalty kill, going to have Deke and Studs, X-Tech, and Tuber with Owe, Yui, Superman, and Flopfish. Three-man penalty kill, 4-on-4. And then the goaltender is going to have Bacon and Smelly, starting goaltender and backup. And then shootouts looks like that. So it's a pretty decent offensive team, I should say, for the Toronto Chiefs. Not gonna deny it. So if we take a look at the Toronto Marlies now for the AHL team, we're gonna have Colton, Cruiser, and Flo Show on the top line. It's Kane 88, myself, and Average Pro on the second line. UTP, J Lau, and AJ on the third, and then Cedar Point, Jojen, and Jakerba holding out the fourth. So the guys that are being scratched right now for the YouTubers wise is going to be Z Crowns is scratched, 2nd Regiment Royale scratched, Maverick is scratched, Hebsky and Haxorz are scratched. So there's that. Forgot to mention one other player on this team. As you guys can see him down there in the top 6, we'll get to him. Crazy Canuck and Dilsey are going to be the top 2 defensemen there. J to the P30 and McDonough, Trevdo, and don't be Sod. Sod, I'm sorry. There was a raging support for you to be as lowly overall rated as physically possible, but somehow you still do make it to play defense. Don't be Sod. 38 overall, two-way defenseman, 0.5 red stars. Oh man, that's not my doing, Sod. That is not my doing. It is it's some guys in the community who wanted you to be very lowly overall rated, most notably Owe just wanted to have you lowly overall rated as physically possible, but you still do get to play on the team with your boy Trevdo, so there you go. And then in goals, we have Richardhead and Viper backing it up. I think I'm going to try to give Viper not as many starts. I'm going to try to see if I can split the starts between Viper and get Paul some starts in there as well, because he is currently scratched right now. But I do want to try to get Paul some starts as well. So there's the whole lines and setup as it is right now, guys, for the Toronto Chiefs and the Toronto Marlies. Like I said, don't disregard the overalls. It's the overalls are kind of broken, but that's how we have everything set up right now. I think, we've almost gone to 15 minutes so far. I'm going to call it an episode for this first episode of the YouTubers GM mode, and I want to explain a little bit, take the time now to explain how everything is going to work for the season on. Now, usually for my GM modes, I would just go month by month, not even looking at the games, and then just taking a look at the stats at the month and changing it up. However, we're going to do something a little bit different this time. Every single game, and these episodes might be a little bit longer for right now. I'm going to try to maybe fit like 10 games per maybe 10 to 15 games per episode for each of these episodes, just because I want to do a what I usually do for the playoffs. So sim the first, sim the second, and then do a time 6 for the third period on each and every single one of these games, just so we can make it longer. We can see who scores, we can see who's doing well in the simulation and everything like that. I think it'll be really cool, and if I can fit maybe like 10 to 15 episodes or games per episode, we can probably get the regular season, each regular season, done in about maybe six episodes, and then maybe move on to the playoffs if we so wish. And also another thing I'm going to put down there in the comments for a bunch of you YouTubers that are watching it down there. Trading, I wasn't keen on trading anybody away to any other team. I kind of wanted to keep all the YouTubers on one specific team. But I will say this, if you guys are progressing fairly well, it's probably not going to be the first year. We're going to keep everybody together for the first year. But as people get better, and if you want to take your talents, if you want to go LeBron James and take your talents to another team, let me know, and we can request a trade to another team for you guys. So that is something that I will like to put out there. A lot of you guys are probably going to request trades anyway, but I'll try to keep it to a minimum just because I want this just basically to be a progression series, have everybody progress up pretty well. First year could be a clunker year, even though the overalls are fairly low. Could be a clunker year, who knows. Maybe we could surprise everybody and maybe make it to the playoffs. Like I said, our goaltending is pretty solid, and our defense isn't actually too bad. Offense is a little bit sketchy for the NHL team, but who knows, we could actually have a pretty decent year. So once again, guys, thank you to every single YouTuber that gave me your information. I hope you guys are going to enjoy making this series as much as, or enjoy watching this series as much as I enjoyed making it. Big shout out to Austin and Richardhead for helping me create these guys. Shout out to Haxorz for making the thumbnail. Shout out to Deke for letting me use his idea from NHL 13, as well as AJ, who was considering doing this but went to do his Star Wars GM mode as well. Lots of people to thank. Everybody who gave me their information, thank you very much. And this should be one hell of a crazy, fun, weird, whatever GM mode series. So I hope you guys enjoy. Stay tuned for the next episode following the Toronto Chiefs in the NHL YouTubers GM mode. I'll catch you guys in the next episode.